back, everybody, to Midas Letter RAW. Special head is not dead. He is here with us live today. We have Plato joining us today. Plato, say hello, take a bow. There we go.
Plato?
Plato. Words of wisdom.
He's mad at me.
He's pissed. Why?
He's mad at me because I told him I like Socrates better.
Well, wasn't he Socrates' student?
Yeah.
Or was it the other way around?
Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. You got it. He was the student of Socrates.
And Aristotle
is the student of Plato.
So basically these guys were just circle jerking, whispering each other the same logic.
You know what though? But you got to admit, will we be talked about in a couple of millennia?
Who, you and me? No, I don't think so.
That would be we.
Is that a rhetorical question?
I think so.
That's an Aristotelism, isn't it?
Nice to see you.
You too. Nice How are you doing today?
Nice to be seen.
Day 3 of no drinking for you, I understand.
Day 3. Oh, I know, and I'm thinking, I hope I can make it to 4.
Well, I know I got through 2, and that was traumatic.
I know.
So traumatic, I had to have a bottle of white wine last night.
Wow, that's not even a drink. You don't even consider a bottle.
One bottle's not a drink?
3 bottles. That's my idea of a drink.
That's your starting point, is it?
Something like that.
Have you been watching what's going on in the slaughterhouse? I mean, the cannabis market.
I think, you know, if people have been watching us, I think we've said the charts don't look good. We've said there's been, looks like, you know, I mean, sure, there's some bounces and stuff, but they're trending
into the shithole.
Yeah, there's been some, you know, it has all the makings of a bona fide bubble.
Do you think, though, now the weakness in the cannabis sector is the result of continued weakness in the cannabis sector, or is
being dragged down?
Is this a sell-off as a result of the bigger problems in the globe, the Turkish lira, the Russian ruble, all these things?
You know what? You know what? That's always been a difficult question to answer.
Yeah. Why?
Well, because at the end of the day, the selling is really caused by one thing. It's caused by more selling than buying. Like, if a stock drops, it's because there's more sellers. The sellers are overwhelming the buyers, and that's why it drops. But there's reasons, underlying reasons. You know, maybe everybody's kids going back to school and they need new cars or something. I don't know. At the end of the day, or for whatever reason, you know what propelled them up? That reason's gone, and now it's the opposite.
Huh. All making fantastic sense, Ed.
Yeah, no, I didn't say it's going to make sense, but
no, but it is.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're not just another pretty face. Is that what you're saying here? No,
I guess I am saying that. I guess.
Okay, so let's take a look at the.
By the way, I really liked the new look yesterday.
What new look?
The look, the different charts, the different.
Oh well,
you know,
this is.
It was easier to be a little more didactic.
Didactic.
There's one.
Wow.
Instructive.
Instructive. Didactic. Instructive. Now I'm pulling up the. Let's make sure I have my NDI translator open here first. Okay, so we're looking at the Midas Letter Large Cap Cannabis Index now, and
can we get the Well, I don't think it matters, but wow, that's looking like.
I'm going to put up some. I'm going to overlay the relative strength. Oh no, I'm going to overlay the relative strength index.
Okay, relative strength.
RSI, simple RSI.
You know what? Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I would do that. Add comparison index. No. You know what? I don't know how. I'll take it back. I'm not going to say. Overlay.
Relative strength index. So I've got it there 3 times. Only need 1. Okay. So now the RSI on this thing. This is the index of all 10 companies that are worth more than $500 million market cap, traded in Canada. The RSI is down at 30.57. So from an RSI perspective only, this is an oversold sector.
Oversold sector, however, not extremely oversold yet.
Where's an oversold?
Extremely oversold would be 18, 19. That's extremely oversold. I doubt if we'll get that low, but I got a funny feeling this is going to get closer to 20. You know, I think 22, 23, but again, right now.
Okay, I'm going to throw up another. I'm going to add another moving average. I'm going to add the 200-day moving average here. And if you're wondering what we're using here, this is Questrade's tool.
Yeah, this is nice.
And Questrade, this is Questrade's QuoteStream Pro desktop, which we are going to be using regularly to analyze stocks here from now on, just because Ed likes it. And what Ed likes, Ed
you
gets.
know our friend over at
Good friend,
the guy who just came back from Italy.
Oh, Donnie.
Donnie, you know what he always
He's
talks
already
about.
back? Donnie, are you back?
Yeah, he's back.
Get in here,
Yeah,
man.
Donnie.
Where are you?
Donnie always talks about the death cross.
Is that where the 200 moving average crosses the 50-day?
Well, yeah, that is. In other words, if the 50, which has been above the whole time, right? That's your signal that. But if it starts to, obviously, if there's continued deterioration, we're about to go through the 200 here. Now it won't cross over though, probably until we get here. So, but I'm going to say.
Are you saying the market's going to 4,200, Ed?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it would appear that it's going to happen.
Whoa! That basically, we're looking at essentially a 15 to 20% further drop in prices.
Another way of looking at it, the difference here is smaller. Then it gets so big, you have to say to yourself, how can it get much bigger? And it didn't. It got smaller again. And now you got to wonder, is it going to meet? And I'm not saying it will, but
you would say that judging by the indications, they're on a convergence path.
They're on a convergence path, yeah. That's all I'm saying. And something could change.
Yeah.
But here's a major line you don't want to break, right? You connect that with that, draw it across.
Well, that's 4,600. That implies a 20% drop in prices further across the board.
Yeah.
4,600. We going to 4,600, Ed?
Well, we did here.
Now. Yeah.
And we couldn't get, we've this whole structure is looking rarer and rarer, although we tried here, but it was much more gradual. This is what drives people crazy. This is what really sucks in the money, is this sharp rise quickly. People go, oh my God, this is my opportunity to make a lot of money. They throw it in.
Yeah.
The greater fool theory, right?
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
I'm saying a lot of things, but I'm not making a lot of predictions. I'm just saying it looks sloppy.
Okay, so let's, where do we go from here? Should we look at, let's look at weed specifically.
Let's look at weed. Weed, I think.
Loading. Okay, there's weed. Leading the sell-off.
Yeah.
32.55.
What's that percentage down here?
So intraday, it is down 7%, 7.19%, 7.22%. It seems to be accelerating towards the end of the day here. Down $2.52, trading at 32.52 right now.
Yeah, so if you put up a candle chart.
A candle chart? Boy, you're demanding.
Yeah, I'm a demanding guy.
Okay.
We remember we got down here quickly?
Okay. Wait a sec. I've got where did I save chart studies? Where the hell did I?
Yeah, you put up that other chart. I think we can find it there.
Settings.
Try settings.
That's a good call. Chart area. Here we go, Ed. You want candlesticks? You got candlesticks.
Okay, that's what I want to see. Yeah.
All right.
So here we hit 32.55, and then we tried to go higher, but not sharply. And then we had a couple nays. Remember, we said it looked really interesting at 37, but ran into the 50-day moving average and now rolled over. And look how fast it deviates from up here. In 2 days, it's given back what it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15 days of sideways to up. 2 days, gone.
Yeah, so basically
that's
$5 in
the sellers,
2 days.
Yeah, look at, so now we break that level. The next support would be in here somewhere. I know. Here we go. So.
It's all very depressing.
Yeah. Well, unless you're short.
Now,
but I'm not.
That's a good point. Unless you're short,
or if you're not in.
If you're not in, let's go to. There we are.
Is that a live? Is that a live?
Yeah.
That down at the bottom.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little tape delayed.
Oh, you mean is it?
Because I just saw XRO traded 44.5 on my thing, and then now
that was me. I just bought a little more. I took my winnings from GLDN today. I tell you, I made 20 grand in 4 days. Nothing's wrong with that, eh?
Hey.
Anyways, so I bet you're pretty curious about which trade that was. I'm going to pull up that chart right now. That was on a company called Golden, who today announced a 320 plus meter intercept of 0.35% copper in the Golden Triangle in northern BC. For those who do not know, that is highly representative of an actual porphyry discovery. Great thing is, I spoke to Mike Bleed, the CEO, on the phone after the news was out.
You should try and get him on.
He's coming on tomorrow. He's here tomorrow.
He's
on a plane right now.
I think it, and you make it happen.
That's why we work so well together, Ed. No, I spoke to him this morning, just before you did, and he was heading to the airport. He's getting on a plane. He's going to be here this afternoon. We're going to go out and have a drink or two tonight. You can't come because you're drinking water, and who wants to hang out with that?
I may be making an exception. I don't know.
Yeah. And we're going to tilt the glass to this hole.
Well, look at this. Look at this.
And then tomorrow he's coming on the show.
We got green, 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 and then pop.
Yeah.
The only thing wrong with this little action here is that it's so fast, so sudden, and you got a nice wick developing here. And there's more good news coming, I believe, because I think there's some pictures of some cores.
Yep.
But look at that spike in volume.
Yeah.
Boy, that's big.
Well, that's why I sold it at the end of the day here today, because
I think you'll get a chance.
Profit.
Good chance you could buy it back 4 or 5 cents lower.
Well, I think if it's going to take, how long is it going to be till the next drill hole?
You'd think another week.
At least.
At least.
So in 1 week, if we look at all of the other drill hole hits markets that we've seen this week, they all come back 10, 15, 20%. And I'm going to buy.
I'll bet you. I'll make you a side bet right now.
Side bet.
$1.
$1.
The volume will be less than it was today, because usually the volume's the most. Yeah. The volume will be less than today.
Well, I think that's what I'm.
You wouldn't take that bet, would you?
Well, I would bet you that too.
Unless they came up with, so we're making the same bet.
Right, on the same side. So who are we going to bet against? Hey, John. We need an
okay.
We need a bookie out here.
No, you know what? Look at.
So here's the press release that rocked this stock.
Right.
Golden Ridge. Now, Mike Bleedy is a consummate geologist and business guy who has been putting this together. It's been a long, hard slog for a lot of investors who couldn't bear the weight and sold out just a little bit too soon.
Look at this thing. You could have bought all you wanted a week and a half ago.
But here's what's important, people, is that these 2 holes are still at the lab and have yet to be released.
What 2 holes?
These 2 holes here. That one. So this is hole NK18007. This is the one announced today.
Okay.
This is 18002, a 60-degree angle hole that cuts right into the same porphyry signature.
Right.
And then here's 18005, which is offset. I am led to believe that these holes are better than the discovery hole.
I think there's some indication visually, if anybody can look on the website and see the pictures of those holes, that there's some higher grade mineralization that's
expected.
Evident. Yeah. So to your point, this is not just hearsay.
No,
you can eyeball this yourself.
Yeah. Anybody who's got the rudimentary understanding of geology
and good vision
and doesn't need glasses can see.
Okay. Well, he's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to be chatting to him tomorrow.
Yeah. Sorry, I made the mistake here. It's HNK18001. That was the subject of today's release.
Okay. So where's today? This is today's.
This is today's here.
And these are not that one.
No. The green, see the green dot? That's today's hole,
okay.
A to A.
Okay. And
the other 2 holes in red, HK18002. 002.
And
there's 3 more holes at the lab. HK18.
I think there's 5. Look, here's 7.
Whoa.
What's going on? What's wrong with
no, those are survey lines. The purple are the survey lines.
No, but that's a hole. 18007.
Yeah. No, that's right, in red.
Right.
That's going along the 1,080 meter
iso
line there.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's the point. So in case, just for clarity's sake, my strategy is I sold my position 4 days after I bought it for a 30% win. Now I'm going to go back on the bid and I'm going to try to buy the stock beneath 20 cents again, because I think it's going to drift down that far in the next week, because it's one of those gnat-like attention span markets where people are going to run to the next hole, they're going to run to the next thing.
I think it was close to a 50% win.
Well, I started buying it at 19 cents.
Yeah, 19 to...
And I sold it at 29.
So 19
That's
to
a
29.
50% win.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I made more than I thought. Pardon me.
That's all right. I was pretty good at arithmetic.
That's the accountant. That's the accountant. Anyway, so
okay.
that's...
well, congratulations on a nice trade.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Well, I've got to say that I was listening carefully to what you were saying, and this is why I sold today. Because you really gave me the sense I could sell it today and I'll probably get to buy it back cheaper and ride another lift when those results come out. If, as according to the scuttlebutt on the street, is that these holes are better than the discovery hole announced today. Now, if that's the case, where's this thing got?
But I mean, you know, you still need a lot of volume to propel this higher. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to, look, we shouldn't really be in the job of predicting trades.
We're not predicting?
But I think there's a good chance that we could, look, if you buy your position back 4 or 5 cents lower, you're pocketing yourself $10,000.
Yeah. So now let's look at XRO, another company we've been following. XRO Technologies, which is in the business of optimizing coils in generators
making
and
electric motors more efficient.
Basically. And thank you, Ed.
Well,
anyways, so
I always like to help my friends.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So XRO, CNX here on the old. So XRO, look at this action in the day here.
Is it up on the day?
So this is, I was bidding at 44. Well, it's up, it's up 3.5 cents, up 8.43%.
Last at 45.5?
Yeah.
Really?
Last at 45. So, but if we remember, at the end of the day yesterday, somebody came in from Instinet and just dumped a whole bunch of stock on it and cold cocked the thing back down to 40 cents.
We're now 45 to 46.
45, 46.
190,000. But can you know what a volume chart would be? Maybe it's below, a little bit lower. Is it possible?
Let's see here. We'll go settings.
So I wanted to point
overlay. We want
volume.
Parabolic weighted close. Oh, tools.
Volume by... No, that's not it. No drag action.
Lower indicators. Volume. Here we go.
That's what you want. That's it. That's it. Survey says.
There we
go.
Now. All right, look at that volume. How much of that is you and me?
Pretty well all of it.
We're single-handedly buying this stock.
Wait a minute, the phone's ringing. It's IROC.
Buy, sell.
Hello.
IROC. No shenanigans here. Sorry to report.
No shenanigans.
Just straight up bullish buying.
What I would also like to point out here.
What's
now
that?
we've had days, but we've made a nice move here, and it's, you know, we don't know what's going to happen the next few days. But
what? We know what's going to happen. Where's the crystal ball?
Here.
So okay. So now, if I were to look, that's right. Look at the moving. Or the relative strength indicator is at 67.6.
Yeah. So, because I think we are now safely, like if you notice, this blue line is starting to turn up. That's the 50-day, right?
Turnip. Like the turnip truck?
Oh no, yeah, no.
That's where John Dudney's from.
This is the 50-day, the red, right?
Yeah. Right. No, that's just an errant crayon mark.
No,
36 is.
Simple moving average, that's the 200.
Okay.
Oh, the 200.
Oh, okay.
So the 50 is, okay, so now we want to see this start to turn, and it will start to turn quickly. It was down here.
Oh, that's interesting. The 200 day moving average only got started in the last week of July because that was its 200th day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look at that. This is as fresh as they come. Fresh as a daisy, Eddie.
Fresh as the morning breeze.
Fresh as the morning daisy coffee whiskey thing.
Wash, and the ice blue cheer.
Woo! Okay, let's go see who's with us today. Let's go look at our Facebook friends and greet everyone there because we are truly, truly appreciative of this audience. So, who we got here? Michael Baran. Come on, Ed. Only 53 minutes left, he says. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, that's the shirt you're wearing today. Jeanette Holmgren, friends with Hadar Evsel. Pat One got news today. Oh yeah, so let's touch on that.
Okay.
Patriot One came out with news. Stock traded up to $1.78. Guess we should throw that chart up. It's come off a bit since then. People are disappointed because they don't know who the security contractor that the company announced a deal with today in principle, which is not a final deal. So
Did they leak some news out?
They published a press release, yeah.
And said there's somebody we're doing a business with, but they didn't identify?
Patriot One Technologies came out with news today. Stock's now selling off again because a bunch of day traders came in. Whoa, did you see that monster go by, Ed? You missed it. The monster just swiped that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so Patriot One, relative strength indicator was rising in those last few days of buying, and now it's sold off a bit. But the press release essentially covers the, I'm going to pull up the press release just because far better than to speculate is to know. Let's see here. I'll go to my own website. Oh, look, there we are. You guys are beauties, somebody says. Ryder Bateman. We're beauties, Ed. What a beauty, eh?
Well,
you're a beauty.
the epitome of masculine pulchritude.
Pulchritude. I thought that was feminine beauty, though.
Well, no, feminine pulchritude would be feminine beauty.
Oh,
masculine pulchritude would be masculine
Pulchritude. Beauty. Pulchritude. Pulchritude is another word for beauty.
We're the quality of being pulchritudinous.
Pulchritudinous. You're looking pretty pulchritudinous today yourself.
Thank you.
So here's the announcement that got Patriot One moving in the right direction. Patriot One enters into conditional agreement in principle for technology funding with international defense contractor. Doesn't say who.
Doesn't say who.
Do you know who?
Is there a rumor out there?
There's a rumor out there. I am not going to repeat the rumor.
Don't
though.
repeat the rumor.
No, but the rumors, if you trade on rumors, you're going to find yourself.
What's the exact statement by the CEO?
The exact statement
international
says we are
defense
thrilled.
contractor. Wow.
Yeah. So essentially, but interestingly to me, they put this cautionary paragraph.
Is that because there's been noise out there?
Yeah, that's because there's been lots of
But they don't want to say
rumor-mongering.
because maybe the contract hasn't been.
Well, according to the press release, while final contractual review and diligence is underway, Patriot One believes a possibility exists that certain members of the public may become aware of the agreement and choose to speculate on its meaning. In other words, speculate as to the identity of that defense contractor, which we would be doing if we repeated the rumor that we'd heard. So we're not going to bother. Anyways, as all final approvals have not been received and the matter is subject to certain non-disclosure agreements, the company is not at liberty to discuss additional particulars at this time.
Yeah.
However, as a public issuer, it was determined that the obligations of continuous disclosure and communications to investors required a statement of fact at this time. That's because there was rampant speculation going on in the market.
Right.
The stock was starting to do this.
Right.
The boys at Patriot One were getting a little dismayed, and they were probably thinking, boy, that James West and Ed Milewski, look at the trouble they're causing us by all their speculating on what's happening over here behind the scenes.
We brought some attention to this, and
a little prematurely.
The company
it turns out we were right.
Well,
they had to acknowledge
but usually
we were right.
Unusual volume and price action imply something's coming.
Yeah.
This just doesn't happen unless.
No, well, unless somebody leaks the information, which would be, and then if you traded on that, you'd be trading on insider information and subject to those kinds of penalties, which, thank God, we don't do, because we like freedom. I like freedom. Do you like freedom, Ed? And I do not like having conversations with regulators that I'd otherwise prefer to have over a beer.
If you're already in the big house, they're not going to give you a call.
Exactly. So, Patriot One, bit of a disappointing press release for some, but look at the bright side. We know there's we don't necessarily know it's a big deal coming. What the hell is going on? It's the perpetual shot.
Oh yeah, I like those. It's like a mirror, two mirrors, right?
It's like a kaleidoscopic self-image. Pulchritudinous times 10. Pulchritude.
Pulchritude.
I'm going to get a dog and call it pulchritude. Hey, Pulky.
Or you can get a horse and call it black pulchritude.
Oh, or I could get a...
Get it? Black Beauty? Black... Black Beauty sounds a lot better than black pulchritude.
Why do you say that?
Well, just from the sound,
Ed,
right?
Careful.
BB alliteration again.
Okay, I'm going to talk to some people on our site now in our...
Okay.
Look, there we are. Whoa! We just got smushed! Did you see that?
Yeah.
We got smushed. Look, you can see it right here. That's ready to get smushed.
What's the ticker for CannTrust? Is it INT?
TRST.
Oh, Trust, yeah.
It's up 23 cents.
I know people that say that's a great company, you know, because they're
Look, there's us looking at them, looking at us.
And then there's Plato.
Look,
looking.
Waiting and Weed says, hi, gents. Hi, Waiting and Weed. Josh, are you guys based out of Toronto? We are based right in the heart of Toronto, at the center of the financial universe in Canada, here at the corner of King and York Street in the Exchange Tower. And who else? Lawrence Daly. Good day, everyone. Good day, Lawrence. Christine, Tanks. Look at, I'm going backwards. XTO, Garrett Turner. Who are they talking about now? No, not XRO. That's right. We were talking about XRO. Who are they talking about now? Modern Picasso is here. Stay patient for the next 3 to 4 weeks. You know, I really should start at the top. Looking forward to seeing Beer X CEO's interview. Yeah, that's coming. Ben Smith is here. There's our #1 writer. Hey, Ben, how are you doing today? All right, there's a conversation going on of which we're not really part. But anyways, continuing on, let's talk about, so we're going to buy back into Golden, GLDN. I'm going to buy back into Golden after if it drifts lower. I might end up buying back in even if it continues to go higher, because mania could set in.
But you feel a little better knowing that you've maybe
took some money off the table. Instead of that money being in the unrealized gains column, it's in the realized gains column, and thus has become profit. Oh! There's a very wise fellow who was a broker, was my neighbor. I shouldn't say was, he's still there on Bowen Island, but he said to me, he used to say to me, Jimmy, always be a seller. Don't hurt the market, but just always be a seller.
I know a few people that subscribe to that.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. You should sell something every day. 20 grand. Yeah, 20 grand in 4 days. 5 grand a day, that would be 1.2 million a year if there's 20 sessions in a month. I could live on that.
Yeah, so, you get bored.
Yeah, I would. Let's see.
Organogram down 20 cents. I just see that going by. But I do think this is tape delayed here on the bottom.
You think so?
Yeah.
You know, there's one way to find out. I'm going to pull up real-time stock chart, stock watch. Stock house. We're not going to watch that. Stockwatch.com. Stockwatch. There we go. Logging in. Let's pull up what would be a good one, representative that's really trading well. GLDN would be a good one to look at. Look. GLDN is at 30.5 cents. I sold too soon. I should have offered it.
Where is it at now?
30.5.
Good.
Okay. Oh, last at 31. I sold too soon. Never be afraid of leaving money on the table, as long as you're putting some in your jeans.
Leave it for someone else.
Exactly. Market depth. Okay. So 31.5. Let's see, what does it say here? Does GLDN on the ticker? If we don't have GLDN on this ticker, can we get GLDN on this ticker?
Yeah, 30.5, 31. That's a live quote.
Yeah.
Now the question is, that's the high of the day. Let's see if it can get through there for the close, which is in another half an hour.
Yeah. So there's well, the thing I like, here's what I like. This is what I like to look at, is this thing here. Watch this. Let's go look at the GLDN. And now let's go look at the...
Put up the Bollinger Bands for a minute on this one. I want to show
I have a plan here that I'm looking for the... Oh no, I have to go over here, sorry. Oops, cancel that. We'll come back to this, but we want to look at the, market depth and time of sales. No active session. What the hell? Okay, GLDN, here it is. So this is the table view of the market depth. Now look at this, Ed. This is the histogram of the demand and supply of GLDN shares.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this.
This is basically just a graphic representation of the entire bid side and the ask side.
Wow.
So on the offer side, you know, there's a total of
1.3 million?
Actually, it doesn't. At some point, this has just come up here, but at some point it'll come up and say how many shares are on the bid. Ask size. Whoa, wait a sec. Where is it? It's not coming up. Anyways, that's a beautiful thing. You could very easily see what the bid strength is relative to the offer.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that everybody who's selling is putting up offers. They might just be sitting in the weeds there waiting to whack bids.
Yeah, absolutely.
That happens a lot because they don't want to scare off the bids, so they just pick them off one by one. Very common practice. But yeah, so look at that for golden. Very well traded. Now, if we look at XRO, now this is, look at that. That's a monster. That's a wall of want.
A wall of want.
Yeah, and not very much. Like there's a limit to how much you can buy here.
And a sort of like a.
So if we look at the table view, look at, what is this? Okay, so here, these are the bids that, or these are the offers today, rather. So there's, oh no, this is the date they were posted. So even if you go, we've got 2007, 12, 29, 32, 35, 41, 5, 44, 5, plus 36 is 77, 78, 78, 89, 5, 93, 103. So you've got basically less than 250,000 shares offered between this price and 99 cents.
But it can, obviously it can change quickly, but there's some good bids there. There's no question.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should maybe take a look at the other two big ones in the marijuana space, Afria and Aurora.
Let's pull up Afria. APH. I'm liking Afria because you know what? I think I'm gonna start buying it. If it sells off, if it sells below $9 bucks, I'm a buyer.
Okay. Let's put up a chart.
Okay. Oh, look at that.
Because it's not on the screen here.
It was as low as, it's 887 right now. Yeah, I'm trying to, come on, chart. Okay, you know what? Let's go straight to the chart. Chart's advanced. There's Afria. Let's throw up a couple of overlays. Let's do the weighted close down here.
Chart type. Let's put up a chart type here, candlestick.
You want a chart type
I find that those the most useful.
Okay. Donnie hates the candlesticks for some reason. I don't know why.
Donnie does?
Yeah, he always says, stop using candlesticks. He said one comment once. I don't know what he means by that. We'll put up volume. We're going to add relative strength. What else should we put there as a lower indicator? MACD?
Yeah, you know what? There's so many of them here. Like, holy smokes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is a, look at, what's the RSI there? 32.34.
Wow.
Now look at, again, this line here, this sort of support, tested the support, and it looked pretty constructive there, and then we rallied, but we really didn't get above that by too much. And we tried here, we tried here, we tried here, and now we've broken this.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. I mean, it's going to get oversold, and it'll be so oversold, the shorts will be running in the street claiming victory, a Trojan victory. And you know what? That's when it looks just so bad, like that's when it'll be a rally. I think that's my guess. There'll be a really good counter rally here, but right now.
So do you think this is being shorted?
I think there's probably a lot of shorted because everything points to lower prices.
Okay, so let's go look up the short interest on APH on Stockwatch.
Yeah, it's right. You can step.
Oops, not there. Where the hell's the short interest?
Just punch up a quote again, and it's right. There's a button there. Just go APH and.
All right, so
5 million short. That's it. 558.
So as of July 31st, it's up another 53,000 shares. But the 2 weeks before that, it actually 1 point. So this doesn't look like it's that short.
No, it doesn't. Which really,
2.5% of the float
I'd like
short?
to see a big short, and that would make me think a short cover rally could ensue.
Okay, so this is not
But let's look at the other one. Let's look at ACB and see what percentage of that's short.
Okay.
I got a funny feeling it's going to be higher.
Oh yeah, well they've got 1 billion shares out. No, but only 3% of the float on ACB
Well,
is
3%,
short.
but much bigger float. So look at 27. Look at, there's a big short cover there.
14 million shares.
You know what? That's probably that other company. They shorted it going in because they wanted to secure their position, and then they covered.
Which company is that?
The one they took over. The one that
MedReleaf?
Yeah.
So you think they?
Well, they could
bid it up?
They could have sold. They could have been long MedReleaf.
Yeah.
And they could have sold their ACB before the MedReleaf was converted on the broker's account. So
Thereby being able to lock in the higher price.
yeah, and then when the back office changed their MedReleaf to Aurora, they weren't short anymore, and so the immediate drop. Because look at this shorting in here. See, this was up to 7% short.
Yeah.
But maybe that was a false short. Again,
false short.
For what I said, for the reason I said.
Okay. Okay, so
Maybe.
that's
Maybe.
interesting.
I could be wrong.
We had Jason Zandberg here today from PI Financial.
He's an analyst.
He's a certified financial analyst, and he had some interesting things to say about Aurora. And here's that interview, Ed.
Okay, good. Good.
Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My guest in this segment is Jason Zandberg. He is the Special Situations Analyst at PI Financial Corp, covering small cap growth companies. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Jason, you recently reiterated a buy rating for Aurora Cannabis Corp for $13 a share. Recently, it's touched a low of $5.60, and I'm curious to hear if you still stand by that sort of vision for the future price, and what are the factors that contribute to your sort of support of it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We initiated coverage on Aurora just over a year ago. A lot has happened since then. They've made a number of large acquisitions, MedReleaf being the most recent. We love what their critical mass of production is now. They've been very aggressive in growing their sales. Some of the recent weakness, I believe, is due to the MedReleaf shares that were not locked up, and you have, insiders in MedReleaf that are, had been looking to monetize their position. So, we did expect some weakness, and I think it's a great time to be buying Aurora in this dip.
Sure, kind of makes it a buying opportunity.
Absolutely.
Do you think that there's a sort of perception on the part of the retail side of the market that they don't really understand the full scope of all that Aurora has become? Because even I, who look at the company on a daily basis, looked at the press release that they put out yesterday that gave a sort of summary of the global sort of state of the union, and I was sort of taken aback by how I hadn't really considered it in the context of a very, very international footprint.
Yeah.
And I get the sense that retail shareholders kind of missed that totality of it as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of misconceptions about Aurora. I don't know where it stems from, but there tends to be, a lot of rumors about, just in terms of their Aurora Sky facility. And I do find that the market doesn't understand the company. But yes, they have a great international footprint. They've been one of the more aggressive companies that have established production in Denmark, have focused on Australia for a long time now, and are really, looking to be not only a big player in the Canadian rec market, but also abroad in Europe and globally.
Mm-hmm. Now they also have sort of made a move towards the U.S., though not in the form of Aurora, but in the form of Australis, who is at this point an investee company, and Australis is apparently going to be focused on the United States. What do you know about Australis in that relationship?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Australis. I know that they've spun this out. I know that Aurora has spent a lot of time in the U.S. just understanding those mature markets. So they do have a good knowledge base there, and I would expect that Australis will capitalize off of that good experience.
Sure, access to capital is what it's all about, eh?
Absolutely.
And no doubt Aurora has lots of that. You have also started coverage of other companies operating in the U.S., and you've become somewhat bullish on the U.S., I guess, as a result of a great deal of research.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had purposely stayed away from the U.S. market for some time. This is our initiation in the U.S. market. We released coverage, or initiated coverage on Canna Royalty and Ianthus just yesterday, and also put out a full report in terms of what we see in the U.S. market. You know, what I like about the U.S. market is it's a very developed and mature market, even though it's only kind of state by state at this point. But we looked at California. They've got great brands that are developing a great retail landscape. It's got a lot more growth to happen. But the great thing from an investing point of view is the multiples are less than half of the Canadian peers, and we like their upside better. We think that there's more growth there. So we actually believe that over time we will see a premium valuation given to the U.S. cannabis companies, and that'll means big upside for investors.
Sure. Do you think that that was quite the news item that Sam Znaimer, an investor on the West Coast, had been banned for life after admitting to being an investor in U.S. companies listed on the Canadian exchange. Do you think that that is something at this point that Canadians need to be sort of cognizant of and might constitute somewhat of a risk?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's, I'm not entirely sure why this policy has been sort of ratcheted up a bit on the border, but yeah, it's definitely a risk, and it's something that, especially after we have recreational sales in Canada, Canadians crossing the border, this is going to be sort of a new phenomenon that Canadians will have to get used to. And I don't know. I think at some point the U.S. will change their scheduling of cannabis at the federal level, and this situation will go away. But in the meantime, yeah, it's definitely a concern.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there an obligation at this point for the removal of cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act of the United States based on the fact that the FDA has issued a patent for a drug that is based on cannabis, thereby negating the statement required to be on that list that there is no medical value? I mean, it sort of implies to me, at least, that the federal government is now in a state of conflict that has to be resolved at some point. I mean,
absolutely. There's numerous inconsistencies in the federal stance on cannabis. We in our report we looked at polling. We looked at a number of states that have used the legislative process to bring in cannabis because it's no longer a political hot potato. I do expect that over time. I'm not sure exactly when. We're forecasting 2020 to be the year when they reschedule. It's just a best guess. It's the next presidential election.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot of inconsistencies, and this will have to be sorted out eventually.
Do you think that it's going to take that federal deprohibition moment to catalyze or rather unleash the growth in U.S. companies listed on Canadian exchanges?
Well, no, I think that the fact that there is this federal scheduling issue in the States is why these U.S. companies are coming into the CSE and listing. In fact, the descheduling will be, I believe, great for investors, but we'll start to see U.S. companies listing on U.S. exchanges. So, but yeah, I do think there'll be more capital available to these companies, and I do think the valuations will go up. But it definitely will have a different investor landscape from a Canadian standpoint.
Sure. The financing of U.S. cannabis companies has pretty much been the exclusive opportunity of Canadian investors because of the federal prohibition. And do you think, I mean, I look at it and I think, okay, now's a great time to get into the U.S. stocks on Canadian exchanges because the valuations are low. And then when prohibition kicks in, and call it 2020, it's going to be U.S. money that takes those valuations higher and delivers a very positive experience for Canadians who stay in it.
Absolutely. We look at the U.S. market similar to investing in the Canadian medical marijuana stocks before Trudeau was elected. So when Trudeau was elected, I looked at the chart for canopy growth, and it appreciated 73% 2 weeks after Trudeau was elected. And if you look at the long-term picture in terms of the canopy growth stock chart, it's a little blip, meaning that 73% has been multiplied many times over. We see the same thing happening if you get whether it be a new president that's elected in 2020 that's got a more favorable approach to cannabis, or even if Trump is reelected but changes his stance on cannabis, we expect that same increase in valuations to happen immediately following that.
Do you think that there will be a side effect whereby Canadian listed companies that are obviously much more highly valued are going to experience a sort of stampede away from their stocks into these U.S. opportunities?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't think that there'll be a complete migration, but even when MedMen went public on the CSE, the CEO was very clear that this was a sort of an interim step before getting an eventual U.S. listing when that time was right, when the federal regulations were changed. So yeah, I would expect to see some migration down south, but the Canadian market has been very good for raising capital for cannabis markets, and it's become a bit of a niche market in Canada, similar to the mining market, where a lot of international money is raised in Canada. So I do expect that to continue, but it may be less so when the U.S. federal regulations change.
Sure. You mentioned Ianthus and Canna Royalty. What is it about those companies that attracts you?
Well, we love Canna Royalty given their focus on the California market. So they had been for a number of years investing in minority interests in a lot of U.S. cannabis companies. They switched over earlier this year to buy 100% and actually operate companies in California. We love California. It's the largest cannabis market in the world. It went, statewide recreational sales began earlier in January this year. We just think that's a huge market. It's bigger than Canada in terms of population. So, Canna Royalty presents one of the best plays in California. Ianthus, on the other hand, is more East Coast focused. So the one thing about Ianthus is that they're well situated in states like New York and Florida, where it's still a medical-only state, but we've found that anyone that gets roots when it's medical, when it converts into a recreational market, that's a head start for a lot of these medical companies that have dispensaries in great locations. And so we would expect Ianthus to benefit when we see some more change from the state level recreational laws in the coming years. Okay, well that's great, Jason. I really appreciate the input, and it was great to finally have you on the show. We hope to do it again soon. Thanks for joining me. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Welcome back to Midas Letter Live, everybody. Guess who's here? Brad Rogers, Chief Operating Officer and Presidente of CannTrust Holdings Inc, TSX, TRST. I would point out, before we cut to Brad, one of the few up performers on the market today. Brad, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Great day to have me back.
Yeah,
we released our quarter today.
I couldn't believe this.
And it's perfect timing.
I know, like that's incredible. A 99% increase in revenue.
Yes, sir.
Over last year, or over the same period last year. We're talking Q2 here, $9 million. Positive net. 9.1 was it? Okay, sorry. I'm getting
100,000 counts.
Rounding it off here for me. 45,000 patients now, a 117% increase. Like,
yes, sir.
You're quietly knocking it out of the park here, while the rest of the market sort of does this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's great. So
our heads down and we're executing. That's our mandate.
Yeah.
We're not looking over anybody's fence.
No.
And that's what we do. We're like I say, we go and execute on what we say we're going to do.
Yeah. Now there's a few metrics about your company that I've been looking at that make me think that I might start buying it again. And that's...
I didn't know you stopped.
Well, I did stop when it went up, and then it started coming back, and I thought, well, I'm going to be buying it again, but I don't. I'm going to look for the. I'm going to look for the bottom.
Entry point. Yeah.
And so I've been looking for the bottom, and I wish I had bought it earlier today.
Yes.
Because, or actually, end of day yesterday would have been perfect.
Yesterday would have been probably pretty good. Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you are the second most funded to capacity producer going into rec markets on October 17th.
Yes.
You got 50,000 kilograms?
50,000 keys. We are well on our way. It's a phenomenal experience going down to Niagara. Every day it changes because we get more rooms and everything's growing, and metaphorically and literally. It's an incredible experience. Our bud has never been better. Yep. It's a funny thing, you grow it under sun, like photosynthesis happens. It actually performs better than actual indoors.
Really?
And so yeah, we've just standardized our Gold Kush to 27%. So that is a phenomenal market product in the market right now.
Yeah.
It is it's second to none. The bud structure and the quality, I would put it up against anybody's premium product, and indoor, outdoor, from Mars and anywhere else in the universe. Wow. It's phenomenal.
Incredible. And you also raised $100 million.
We did.
Wow, that's incredible too.
Yep.
So where are you going from here?
Well, use of funds for the $100 million is to finish up what's going on down in Niagara. We're doing another 600,000 square foot build out down there. We've got some strategic property acquisitions that we're doing as well. We've got some stealthful science projects, I would call it. We're doing some seed technology, and so when you look at what's going on with respect to daylight neutral seeds and such, we've got some really cool genetics happening right now that we hope to commoditize the market with, and we want to see that happen faster because we know what we're doing on the post-grow process, and so that's another focus that we're into right now. And so we've developed a zero-profile beverage, zero-profile taste beverage.
Oh, okay.
So there's no taste to it. It's like drinking water.
Okay.
And you would never know there's THC in it, and it's a phenomenal base material for any other beverage in the market.
Okay.
And so we've got that, and we've got that at scale, and it's patent pending right now, and that's a really cool piece of our business. Yeah, something that we developed inside.
Okay, so is the cannabinoids, are the cannabinoids actually in solution in this product?
Yes, they are stable in solution, which is phenomenal. It's very much like alcohol.
So they're not just
No, there's not an oil that's going to sit on top of your beverage or anything like that. It's in solution, and so it stays in solution.
Dissolved.
It's dissolved, and it's part of the water, part of whatever beverage you want.
No kidding.
And oh yeah, so that's I can't wait to get it to market. I'm so excited
laughter.
about it. Just add laughter. That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's really, really cool for us. And again, I never thought I'd be hiring a director of nanotechnology. I didn't even know the hell it was. But now here we are, and we've got nanotechnology as part of our core asset development. Yeah. And it's a really cool value proposition for CannTrust going forward. And when we look as partnerships and we look at what we're doing down the road with respect to brand extensions and product portfolio, this lends itself to an incredible array, not just on the recreational side, but on the medical side as well. So very, very cool, very exciting, and lots going on under the CannTrust hood, so to speak.
The recreational products that you've got. What is the branding sort of strategy you got there?
Well, we've got 3 core brands right now. We've got Live, we've got Synergy, and we've got Escape. And so Live is for the everyday, and that's yeah.
Because every day we should get high.
I think so. So that's what we want to sell that every day.
Okay.
And so that's one of the bulk products that we're putting out there right now. And so we've got 7 product lines within that. And so that's appealing to the everyday connoisseur user who understands what a Kush is, what a sativa is, what an indica is. And then we've got our Synergy brand, which is a social brand. And that's appealing to more of the taste profile. So we've got the blueberries, the strawberries, the lemons, etc. And so that's a real social kind of position brand. And then we've got Escape. Okay. So Escape is very unique unto itself in that we are branding our strains to the experience. So for instance, we've got a strain called Walk the Dog, right? And we've got a strain called Tailgate Party. And we've got a strain called Flicks and Chill.
Wow.
So I wonder what that develops. And so
Yeah.
it's delivering on an experience.
Boy, I might have to go use the washer.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. Well then, so where are we going to see CannTrust products on October 17th?
Well, we've got Western provinces are taken care of. As we announced, we have 17,000 kilograms of demand, and so that's underway. And so that piece of our production is spoken for the recreational. That's Manitoba West. So that's 3 provinces with 17,000 keys. Just got off the phone with the OCS as I was on my way down here, as a matter of fact. And I think we'll be seeing POs from them in the following week. And so we'll know our Ontario numbers very, very shortly, and we'll publish those as a global number with respect to what we've got nationally.
Right.
And so we're going to release that into the market hopefully within the next week or two. And so we'll understand where we stand in the landscape of demand for Canada. And so we're looking forward to those numbers. They're very, very communicative now that they understand their framework and how they're going to be operating, and so that was set clear to me on the way down here, as a matter of fact. So first the news here.
Wow, tune in to find out. That's all we have to say.
Breaking news.
Exactly, live from Saturday night. I'm curious about the Apotex partnership. It mentions on August the 8th that last week you put out a press release saying that you were going to accelerate the partnership.
That's right.
And to me, that strikes me as like a whoa, because Apotex is in 155 countries, if I'm not mistaken.
115 countries around the world.
Which probably is like most of the population in the planet.
That's almost the globe. Yeah,
so
exactly.
does this mean that Apotex is getting ready to insert cannabis products into the global?
Absolutely. So what they've got is they've got IP, and so what we're developing with them are products to expand their portfolio of products. Very timely that Epidiolex got approved in the United States.
Right.
And so, that's a cannabis-based medicine that has now been approved by the FDA. So it's very, very interesting for Apotex as a drug development company. So we're looking at putting that on a pathway to DIN, which is a drug identification number.
Right.
Once it's classified as a drug, and you have to do clinicals, et cetera, to be able to get indication-specific drug status. But once that happens, you can distribute that globally around the globe. And so that's really, really cool for CannTrust and for Apotex, as a matter of fact. So they see this as a very, very big business opportunity for them. Just in the United States, the Epidiolex demand is somewhere in around $1.5 billion.
Wow.
And so you look at that opportunity and you extrapolate that with what can be done with cannabis in drug formulation and put that around the world. It's incredibly exciting for us, and I think it's incredibly exciting for Apotex as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we're expediting that relationship and that drug development process as fast as we can possibly make it, and get to market.
Yeah, interesting. So how much, when you finish the 600,000 square foot expansion in Niagara, how much are you going to be producing?
We'll be doing about 100,000 keys out of that site.
Just 100,000 keys.
Just 100,000 keys. But
Okay.
you know what's important though, James, and I want to point this out. Everybody is concerned about weight, right? Weight is only one factor, right? So you get weight, but what is your cannabinoid content in that weight? Is the question everybody should be asking. Because when we're delivering 25 to 30% cannabinoid content per gram, right? Weight per volume, active per volume. That is a metric of efficiency and really what you're getting out of it. My analogy is, if you're growing oranges with no juice in it, what use is it to the juicer?
Sure.
Not much.
Sure. So is it your experience then on the balance sheet that higher potency cannabis products get a higher per volume price?
No, it's more efficiency than anything else. And so your yield creates efficiency. And so if I get more juice out of my oranges, I have to squeeze less oranges to get more juice out of them.
Because you're using it as an ingredient.
It's more of an input.
Right.
Because we're 60% extract right now. So that's a phenomenal number. It's the antithesis of the market, really. Most of the market is 30%, 25 to 30. We're 60% extract.
Why is that?
Well, I think it's the way we've profiled ourselves. The only revenue stream that anybody was allowed to generate was medical, and so we did just that. And we were very disciplined to medical, and so we detailed doctors appropriately. And once extracts came into play, We actually went out and standardized, of course, because every product that we put out is standardized, which is table stakes for us.
Right.
And not very many other players in the market are doing that. But when you're able to dose and titrate on milligrams per mil, doctors are very, very amenable to that kind of philosophy of really dosing and titrating effectively on milligrams per mil.
Right.
And so that's a format that they know and love, and we're putting out other formats such as our vegan gel caps. And so we've got a 10 milligram CBD THCN 1-to-1, and we're coming out with a fortified CBD, a 25 milligram CBD vegan capsule as well. And so that's pretty exciting. It hasn't hit the market yet, but we're soon to be releasing that very, very soon.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so. I mean, what else is there in the future for CannTrust? It's like there's so many milestones.
I can't even tell you. It's so exciting. We've got the rec, we've got medical, and we've got the companion pet market, which I talked to last time. But you know, I mean, we're going into formulation right now of products with them as well.
Wow.
And so we're looking at the preventative, which is kind of like the everyday CBD in your pet's water to keep them, you know, pain in check and anxiety in check, and keep them, you know, regular within their endocannabinoid system. And then of course they've got anxiety, they've got pain, and they've got other indications that we suffer as well. And so we're developing dose forms for the pets, for your companion pets, for your cat and your dog, to be able to cope with whatever ails them.
Wow.
And so we're keeping everybody in check
Little
in the
pets.
family. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, I've just started dosing my dog with CBDs because
you?
because she's got a skin condition she gets in the summer, and so.
So see what
it
happens.
really works.
Is it
no,
working?
it's working. It's working
good.
because
Fantastic.
usually by now she's bald and stinks.
Is that right?
And this year she's still got her fur and she doesn't stink.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
great.
We like that as a case study.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
as a
Brad.
testimonial.
Let's leave it there. That's a fantastic update, and I'm sure we're going to see so much more of you. Congratulations on your quarter. That is outstanding,
Thank you
and I
very
think
much.
Pretty much best in the industry
Best
at this
in
point.
class for sure.
And
you know what? I'll put our fundamentals up against anybody. I implore anybody to go look at our fundamentals and say, hey, you know what? Look at CannTrust and look at anybody else. We're a very sound operation from seed all the way to customer.
Fantastic. Brad, thanks. We're going to leave it there for now. We'll come back to you soon.
Thank you, James.
Up next, we have Amin Parmar. He is a director of Isodiol, and he joined us for a little discussion about what Isodiol is doing. Welcome back. My guest this segment is Amin Parmar. He is a director of Isodiol International Inc., trading on the CSE under the symbol ISOL. Amin, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Amin, tell me about the progress that Isodiol has made since I last spoke to Troy Neiman here about, I guess it was probably 2 or 3 months ago?
Okay, yeah, I think it was early spring you spoke to him.
Yeah, and so as all cannabis companies have sort of been engulfed in this summer Muskoka sideways drift,
Right.
as has Isodiol. But what's happened with the company in terms of corporate developments and value catalysts?
Absolutely. So we've closed the big acquisition out of the UK. That was back in April of 2018, and that was for BSPG Laboratories, which holds and has been approved an active pharmaceutical ingredient accreditation from the MHRA, which is equivalent to their FDA essentially, has given them this approval, and that is on their CBD isolate. So that product now is approved for pharmaceutical use. We are now rolling out partnerships and working with various LPs in Canada and pharmaceutical companies globally around clinical products and developments and trials. So that division is underneath our subsidiary called ISO Labs. We'll kind of have more news and sort of updates on as we head into the fall. But that was a major catalyst for us. It was an acquisition that cost us about $50 million US total in stock and cash. So as we move forward, that will be a valuable asset that we develop. But beyond that, our Q1 numbers will be coming out in the next 10 to 14 days here, end of August. And we've seen good progress and growth in the company's revenues and more importantly, the bottom line. One of the main I guess if you look at our financial numbers from the year end, was a high number of fees and finder's fees, advisory fees that we paid out on all of our acquisitions from our last fiscal year. All of that has obviously now come into play, and we're now building those different divisions and seeing good sort of profitability come up from those various acquisitions.
Wow, that's great. And so, again, what is the main business of Isodiol?
It's more into the manufacturing and distribution of high-quality CBD products. So if you look at Isodiol, there's two main pillars. There's this drug development, this pharmaceutical division that we acquired through the acquisition of BSPG that we'll develop as we head into the next 6, 8, 12, 18 months. And the core business of Isodiol is the manufacturing and distribution of CBD. We have over 100 SKUs in our portfolio, distribution all through the US. We've recently expanded through Latin America and parts of Europe, which will provide updates as we head into the fall.
Wow. So CBD is generally legal everywhere? Or?
It is still in the gray market.
Oh, it is.
In the UK, the rules are a bit different than the US and Canada, where you can actually label CBD on the packaging, and so it's a bit more lenient as far as what you could do on a marketing side. But we're seeing a lot of progress in the US on the hemp and the farm bill, which we're expecting updates on early September, mid-September-ish. And then obviously Canada has their own set of rules, which are going to be coming into play as things move towards recreational. But it's still relatively in that sort of in-between market at this point.
Yeah. You're signing deals with all kinds of different companies, so I guess that companies are finding that licensing a component of the manufacturing process for their products is better than growing it themselves? Is that what this is?
I think we're starting to see a lot of the LPs or players in the space not want to be farmers. I think we have the farmers in place. We have genetics. We have certain strains that we want to grow for the quality of CBD that we want to manufacture, and we have the farmers growing it, and we have those agreements in place. So for us, we don't want to be in cultivation. We have great, relationships globally with farmers, and we're able to source our product from various groups globally.
Sure.
And we're using that to produce our CBD.
Okay, so where do you get most of your CBD?
So we have sources in the US, we have sources through the UK and Europe, and also China as well. We signed a deal with the Kwakatus First Nations out of Saskatchewan earlier this year. So as we develop our Canadian market, we'll definitely be able to utilize that relationship as well.
And so is it generally true that the CBD generally comes from the hemp plant that does not contain much THC?
So we do say that our product is THC free, and as we test through the various protocols, that is a true statement. So we say our product is THC free.
And it's interesting, but I'm reading a book right now that is all about the therapeutic benefits of CBD, and this substance apparently has applications from everything from tumors to like skin diseases to like hair follicle health. It's just incredible.
And without making any claims at this point, GW in the US came out with Epidiolex, which is the first true drug in the CBD space, but you're seeing companies globally doing incredible work with CBD. And no, you're right. Everything from stress to anxiety to there's numerous indications that it works in favor of. Are you taking it yourself? Are you on the CBD?
I'm not right now because but last week I was doing it every day just to experience the physical manifestations, what happens when you just do CBD. And I was really shocked to learn that there is a very tangible physical effect where your energy level is just on. You feel super bright and like I felt sparkly.
For the average person, it'll reduce inflammation in your body. Again, so my mom I always use my mom as sort of that person who is naive to all, but if she sees benefit, I use that as a test subject, and she has knee issues, arthritis and stuff, and she loves it. She takes the oil, takes the cream, puts on the pain patches, and she sees immediate relief, and she's seeing those sort of advantages of CBD. And so for me, and I take it daily as well, and I do notice that my body is a little bit more limber and loose. And so I'll send you some of our products. You can try it out. And
love to have it. I actually have been giving it to my dog who has this summer skin condition she gets, and so far it's nowhere near as bad as it usually is. She's not cured yet, mind you. It got up ahead of steam when I started giving her the CBD, so it's really kind of funny. So the CBDs can generally be shipped across international borders among countries where it is legal?
So again, it is a bit of a gray area still. We're shipping our API material for pharmaceutical purposes, so we're shipping it from the UK. We have about 6 or 7 relationships with LPs in Canada now for R&D purposes. So we're shipping it through the dealer's licensed facilities in Canada for R&D. Most of the product in the US is manufactured in the US and then shipped within the country. And then for the stuff in the UK facility, it's used within the country. So at this point, it's still a gray area of crossing state or country lines, but hopefully that changes as things move forward. I mean, WADA coming out last year, the World Anti-Doping Agency, and taking CBD off their banned substance list allowed Olympic athletes and allowed international amateur athletes to start taking CBD in their training. So you'll start seeing more of the major sports leagues follow that in the short term.
Really? Wow, it makes me want to do some right now. So then what's the growth sort of trajectory look like for Isodiol going out, say, 6, 12, 20, 24 months?
Great question. I think it's to continue improving bottom line profitability, getting into more mainstream distribution within the U.S. I think you're going to see, with the hemp and the farm bill, as we expect to be approved here in the next 60 days, I think you're going to see those opportunities to start distributing through the GNCs and the Walmarts within the U.S. at least. And obviously within the UK, there's a massive opportunity for unsaturated market for the most part to get in there and really establish a foothold. So that whole distribution side of it, I think, will really start to scale up, getting that mainstream, getting Middle America engaged. We signed a deal with Kathy Ireland last quarter where we're collaborating and partnering with her on a lot of her market and her network within the US, and she's got phenomenal reach within Europe as well. So that should be a good relationship for us moving forward. And then obviously on the pharmaceutical side is continuing to strengthen those partnerships with international pharma companies.
Right. Do you see large pharmaceutical companies coming into the cannabis sector more broadly? From where you sit in the industry, does Isodiol have those relationships, get a sense that they're building?
I think you're starting to have those conversations for sure. Internally, we're starting to get engagement from those types of companies, so we are seeing that progression. I think as regulation changes, they'll be more vocal about their overall acceptance of the sector. So for sure that is changing. Big alcohol has already made some moves into the cannabis space, and I think the pharmaceutical companies are next.
And what is the perception or the expectation from Isodiol's point of view of what is going to happen in terms of federal deprohibition in the U.S.?
I think we're going to see some positive results coming out of the U.S. when it comes to the CBD space.
So John Boehner's tabling of that legislation, is that it's hard for us to sort of evaluate that from a Canadian perspective and say, well, shouldn't that mean that it's about to become legal?
Right.
But apparently that's not the case because there's no guarantee anything's going to happen with that.
I agree with that, and more important, I think Mitch McConnell's, what he's going through on the hemp side is more in line with what we're trying to achieve. Being focused on the CBD space, I think that hemp and the farm bill is a real catalyst for us in the U.S.
Well, okay, well that's great, Amin. We're going to leave it there for now. We'll come back to you in a quarter's time and see how you're doing. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So Ed, you were just telling me that you hear good things about CannTrust.
Yeah, I happen to have some friends down in Boca that play golf play golf down there. And the guy used to be a Bay Street guy, and he's got pretty good ties to. We worked at Yorkton together years ago. He was sort of the manager of the retail branch. Can I say his name?
I think so. If he doesn't mind.
Robin Ross. Really, he doesn't mind. Robin Ross is a real character, handsome guy. Lots of hair, dresses well, excellent golfer.
Lots of hair. That's a sticking point. For
well,
you.
Yeah,
something
what?
You notice.
Yeah.
Boy, that guy was really nice, and he had lots of hair. It's like I would never say something.
I don't envy very much in life, but obviously you found my Achilles heel. And I don't mean heel.
Right.
So Robin's a character, and he told me a while back that he thought, and he had some friends that were looking at all the cannabis space. He thought this one had some of the best fundamentals.
Yeah.
And it did perform well. It had a big move, And I think, how did it do today? How did it do today?
It's closed up 30 cents.
Now, why would that close up and everything else?
Well, because they just announced their Q2, and all the metrics, all the KPIs were like through the roof. 99% increase in revenue to $9 million over the same quarter last year.
Yeah.
117% increase in patients.
Yeah.
60% of their sales were in resin, which is
when
very
you
high
say
margin.
patients, is this suggesting that this is a medical company? Medical
CannTrust,
marijuana?
yeah. CannTrust is purely medical now, but they've got a huge, they've got a huge rec strategy.
That's what Robin told me. And Robin plays golf. There's some people down there apparently that are
wealthy
billionaires, and I guess that's the B club.
That's the B club.
Yeah.
Are you in the B club, Ed?
No, I'm in the H club.
The H club?
Hundreds.
Well, at least you're in the H club.
Well, at least there's a club.
There are a lot of people who are in the...
Could be no club.
In the minus club.
Maybe I better take a closer look.
It could be. Now, Ed, you said something else that really disturbed me. And I'm not going to take you to task for it because we talked each other into these things, and so we don't. Blame is not something that is in our vocabulary. But the Golden Ridge closed at 32, and I sold it at 29. I could have got 32, Ed.
You could have got an extra.
What the hell?
Well, you know what? Just to make yourself feel better, when I saw you sell yours, I thought, nobody likes to go to a party alone. So I called up and I had some options because as you know, I worked with Mike Blady a year ago, and for all the work I did, and when the thing went public, he said, here's some options.
Nice.
So not a big amount, but I sold about 40% of those options today.
So now you're feeling just as bad as I do. It's never.
But then
are we going to back on the bid tomorrow?
I have to go back in tomorrow. Yeah. But what I looked at was the market capitalization of the company. I realized, wait a minute, this is not like it was 30 million and it went to 50 million. This is like it was like a micro cap, 4, 5, 6, 7 million, and now it's 20 million.
Yeah.
And at 20 million, if it's a discovery, if it's a major discovery, I'm sure some of the metrics that some of the analytical people will look at and say, well, what kind of a market cap could this garner? And I suspect the answer is probably 50, 60, 70 million, maybe 100. So if that's the case, then there's at least, another good amount here. And let's face it, this is an exploration company. They're going to probably come to market at some point looking for money. I mean, that's not a surprising statement, right?
No.
But I'm just saying.
They're obviously going to need more money.
And so, in fact, they're in town here the next few days. I wonder what they're doing.
Well, we're going to have Mike Blady on here tomorrow.
Yeah. And I know that you know who else is in town?
Who's that?
Is I think Michael's traveling with Norton. Norton
from GTech.
Yeah.
Yeah, GTech just got written up in Forbes as being an aggressive promotional company.
Well, I wonder how that performed today.
Actually, why don't we go see? So there was an article published by Alan Brockstein, who we have on the show, who pointed out 3 companies that had announced in press releases that they were spending a lot of money on promotion. GTech being one of them.
Yeah.
And GTech is down 5% today.
To what, 75?
78 cents.
Okay, so that is now almost a half of what their IPO. And I remember being on the show with you saying, here's one to look at, folks.
Yeah.
If you want to watch something get cut in half. No, I thought it might
get cut in half.
No, but I had people tell me this looks, they're hearing rumors that this could easily go to 2 or 3. Well, that can happen in a hot market.
Yeah.
But the opposite can happen in a cold market. So it got cut in half, right?
Yeah. So when it opened at 220, no, it started life at $1.40.
$1.40 was the high, which is alarming in that whenever a new issue can't even trade at the new issue price, and then that's the highest the trade, right? The high trade was the opening trade. I hate to say.
So now what is the chart telling us?
Well, we're testing the low here. This low happened fast. Look, it's in the bad sector. There's some articles suggesting there's a lot of promotion here. This has got to hold. If this doesn't hold, it's look out below.
Yeah.
Because, and again, we got to look at market cap. What's the revenue going to be? You know, and I listen. I'm good friends with Blady and Norton. I know Norton. I like him, but you know, maybe it was priced aggressively at $1.50.
Yeah. Well, they were trying to catch the rising wave.
They were trying, yeah,
the drifting breeze.
Maybe if they would have waited a month, maybe they wouldn't have been able to do it at $1.50. Maybe they would have done it at $1. So, yeah.
Point. When is Bruce Linton going to be on? Glenn Trief wants to know. When is Bruce Linton going to be on? Well, we are going to have a conversation with Bruce hopefully this month. Bruce, if you're watching, how about this month, Bruce? Anyways, we'll give Bruce a call. I'll give Bruce a text after this, and we'll see. Are you looking for any other surrounding plays? Looking at any other surrounding plays? Okay, he's talking about Golden Ridge.
Yeah.
Golden Ridge. Well, so Aben Resource is actually
50 kilometers away, I believe.
50 kilometers away. Drilled a big hole.
But you know, to the viewer, if this is in fact a major discovery, you don't have to speculate with surrounding plays.
Yeah.
Because if this thing, and that's what we got to get a handle on, what kind of market cap can this garner? Can it get a $70 million market cap? And if those holes are good, if they don't, obviously they're not going to announce a financing. I think they're going to wait for those holes to come out.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But I still think there's a good chance the volume will be approximately half to 3/4 of what it was today. Because 25 million, if you put up the most actives on the venture, I think you're going to see a big disparity between number, you know, who's in first place and who's in second place.
Who's on second, who's on first? How is every stock falling like a rock is a question here from Joey Parker. I would say, Joey, I'm going to speculate and say that the sell-off in stocks broadly is based upon the rising instability among certain currencies like the Turkish lira, the Russian ruble. It would appear that there is a crisis developing in the Eastern Bloc, and it's threatening to spread to the broader global economy. In fact, we're looking at a situation where a certain convergence of circumstances in geopolitical developments, like the trade war between the U.S. and China, the currency crisis unfolding, could catalyze a full-blown financial crisis, and that could be what we're seeing the earliest stages of.
You know, when the big boy at the party, and he's been the big boy forever, being the United States, and they've got the currency. Well, if they obviously they feel like they've been too kind to everyone because of. I'm just saying what they're saying now is everybody, the price of poker's gone up.
Yeah.
So if America says, you know what, who cares? Everybody else suffers, then maybe they're going to come in and pick up the pieces. I don't know how this all going to play out, but no one's going to win. No one's going to win. Except if you're in the B club, so you go down a few notches, big deal. It's the average guy that always suffers, isn't it?
If we're going to go into full-blown financial crisis, you know what the trade is? My favorite trade is buying puts on banks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Low-cost way, low-risk way to play the downside.
Yeah, you know what? I've been a terrible speculator with stock options in my youth.
Mm-hmm. You mean a terrible speculator that you didn't do well, or a terrible speculator in that you were so horribly prolific at it that you did well?
No. I didn't do well. Like you have to be a special person with
special pattern recognition.
lot of discipline. You have to discipline. Unfortunately, one thing you may have noticed, because we socialize a bit, that my discipline at night seems to not be.
I don't know. Here you are. When you say I'm not drinking, you don't drink. And so, as far as I'm concerned, Ed, I do see a little bit of discipline there.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, more than I got.
No, you didn't drink. You didn't drink 2 days too.
Well, and it was the weekend.
I know.
But that's because I had such a tough week last week.
I was sleeping at 8 o'clock yesterday, woke up at midnight, worked for 3 hours, went back to bed for another 4 hours.
No kidding.
4, 3, 4.
Hey, you know what you want to do? What we want to do here, because we've been discussing.
We're almost coming down to the end here.
We're coming down to the end, but your idea, and I've decided it's a damn good one, is we're going to look at the most actives in a few of the markets and see if there's any.
Let's see if there's any. Yeah. Let's see. For instance.
Let's see. Market hours. Wait, where's the most actives gone? Oh, now my phone is ringing. How weird.
Is that your phone?
Yeah. What the hell is this? Market movers. There we go. Let's see here. Sam Sahota. Hello, Sam. You're live on Midas Letter RAW. What's going on?
How you doing?
Great. How are you guys doing? I did. I bought it and I sold it.
What you pay? What you selling?
I sold it. I paid 19 and I sold it for 29.
Wow, you gonna come back in or no?
I'm going to be on the bid tomorrow at 19 again.
Yeah, good luck.
No? Well, I'm going to see what the market looks like. What's this? What is this deposit worth in the context of a market cap if it is really a large-scale porphyry discovery? 100 million?
I'm on the set right now. I'll call you back in
50
about 10
million?
minutes, okay? Okay. Close 32 cents. Okay, bye. Yeah, I'll call you back.
Okay. Can I call you back, guys? We're in the middle of a show here.
I'm talking on the phone.
Okay, bye. Normally, we do a show
Yeah.
or we have phone calls.
Yeah.
Seldom do we do both.
Well, we're multitaskers.
We're multitaskers, yeah. So that was the Hirschberg posse. If you guys don't know about the Hirschberg posse, they're three prolific investors who have somewhere between $100 and $1 billion.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are we hanging around with each other?
Well, because every time we hang out with them, they get the sense that we're interested in their $100 or
Okay.
$1 billion.
Okay.
Anyways, so they were celebrating Golden Ridge. They were long-term shareholders.
Yeah, and what do they think? the
He
market
said,
cap-
I said I'm going to go in and bid tomorrow at 19 cents, and they laughed and said, you'll never see 19 cents again on this deal. I said, but my friend Ed said, no, I didn't say that. See,
No, I know. I didn't. Thank you. Well, I recognize the market cap is not that big yet.
Okay, so here are the market movers.
20. Okay, let's see.
Oh, you know what I wanted?
Hey, there's a surprise. Golden Ridge up 44 cents.
Oh yeah, that's a big shock there.
Look at the first three are mining. The fourth is mining. The fifth is mining.
Is there a mining market on? Or is there an echo in here?
Look at.
Oh, I know.
Look at Oxley Cannabis 74. It's there.
It's tanking.
Yeah.
Rosita Mining. I've never heard of this one. 6
I know.
cents.
Yeah,
up
Rosita.
10%.
I know that's Bobby Mullins is involved in.
No kidding.
He's helping the management there.
Look at an Aubin just down the road from Golden Ridge
Yeah.
picked up some strength today. Up 5 million, up 10% on the day. Sokoman Gold seems to be taking on the chin. That's on the East
Yeah.
Coast.
No, the volume is down, but the stock's down a bit. Yeah. So.
And then, of course, our X-Row doesn't even make it into the most actives.
No. But how did X-Row?
How did X-Row close? You want to pull up a chart on it?
You know what? Yeah. And the last thing I want to do is I want to talk about.
See if X-Row's on here.
Can I bring up that SNS tonight?
SNS?
Yeah.
You
Only
wanna look
because
at
they
that
came
one?
out with really good earnings. Here's a small cap that's actually making a profit. SNS.
Okay, wait 1 sec. We're going to get XRO here first,
All right.
and then we'll go to SNX. Charts. XRO. That's the one-day look. We don't want that.
No. Well,
Let's take the 3-month look. XRO closed up a couple of pennies, 45 cents.
yeah.
After one down day. But that thing's starting to look like it's going to go for a run.
Well, I got to call our friend Mark here. He wants to chat.
Yeah.
And
Okay, now you wanted to look at
SNS. And I want
CNX? CSE?
Yeah.
Not a valid
No,
symbol.
TSX Venture.
Okay, so that's SNS. Wow.
Okay,
Look at that.
so look at that move today. Closed at 50 cents, and I was looking at a press release because I follow this one, and it said they made $1.6 million. Now here's a profitable, at least profitable this quarter, and I'm told that this is going to continue. So this is a cheap stock relative to the pack. Look at that. Wow. You could have bought this stock for 41 cents 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Closed at 50. It hit 51.
Yeah, let's take a-
And by the way, Dave Townsend sent me the name of the president. We should maybe talk to the president of the company.
Okay.
We can do that probably tomorrow.
Who is the president of this company?
The president of this company is a gentleman by the name of Just 1 second here. I'm a little. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. You did. Ed, wake up. You're on the air.
All right.
Zig Vitols.
Okay. Well, we'll talk
Zig Vittles. I hope sorry, I didn't mean to
screw up his name.
But Zig Vitol. Yeah.
All right. And so tomorrow we're going to have Mike Blady here from CEO of Golden Ridge. Tomorrow we have, who else do we have? Let's take a look at the calendar here. We have, let's see, we have, Anthony Dutton here, the CEO of CannTrust Capital Holdings, trading on the CSE under the symbol CNNX. That's a great deal. Might even get a sneak peek at the most recent mini doc that we did at Jenny Extracts down in Oakland, California. We have Michael Elkin here tomorrow. Michael is an expert in Canadian cannabis compliance issues. So we're going to have an interesting chat with him about what we're going to see in the Canadian landscape post October 17th. And then a little later in the day, we're going to have CEO of Tilray, Brendan Kennedy, is going to be here to discuss Tilray's very successful IPO. And there's a company that, hey, let's have a look at that before we go.
TLRY, I believe.
TLRY on the NASDAQ.
See how that's done in light of the current unstable nature of the marijuana sector.
TLRY, oops, that's EY.
That's the NASDAQ, correct?
Yeah, actually, why am I looking on this when I could be looking on this? TLRY, Tilray. Tilray was one of the latecomers to the go public, but look at that chart. Holding its value.
Only down 10% today.
But in a day where everything's down.
But yeah, to your point, this has got to, maybe we can go up a bit, we can see the market cap.
Yeah, market cap's 2.23 billion. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a big one. But there's one slide that we're going to see when Brandon's here, and that's the slide of their global operations, and that will be very telling.
There's sort of a line there, and today we sort of
saw a sell-off. Was there any news?
To report. Okay, August 28th. There's a date we should record.
Yeah, Tilray to report second quarter earnings on August 28th. Interesting.
Yeah. So I got a text here from the gentleman who's the CEO and president of SNS, and I've got it here. I can text it to you, and maybe tomorrow I'll call him in the morning and just have a chat, and because it's making money. Here's a company making money.
Yep. All right there, so that's who we've got coming tomorrow. It's going to be a very cool day and lots of interesting things are going to happen. Feel free to punch in your questions into the chat functionality of either YouTube or Facebook. We tend to watch YouTube more because the picture is better, the sound quality is better, and we have generally more people over there. So, although Facebook has been giving it a run for its money.
We'd like to see some healthy competition.
We don't mind the competition. Anyways, join us again tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll be back here. Thank you very much for watching.
Night all.